Welcome back. We're here to preview Monday night's Premier League game between West Ham and Newcastle. Barnes West Ham before the international break, spectacular 3-0 win at Liverpool.
Yeah, historic day for the club, that one. I think 3-0 winners at Anfield, a ground they haven't won at in over 50 years. You know, their record there was just terrible in the intervening years, so to go there and run out such convincing winners as well, not just the fact that they got the 3 points, the way they did it as well, will go down in the club's history. Really memorable day for them. To win at any opposition ground in the Premier League is tough to do, but now they've done it at the Emirates and Anfield this season. Really good, a promising away start to the campaign for them. The Anfield one probably surpasses the Emirates one, considering the 3-0 scoreline and the fact that they hadn't won there for so long. So probably the finest hour for Bilic in his short West Ham career so far. But they would have, the downside to that was Noble getting a red card, but obviously that's now been rescinded, rightly so, because it was a terrible decision from the referee. Never a red card in that one. Other than that, pretty much all positives from that one. The international break may have come at a bad time. They would have liked to build on that, but there's bound to still be good feeling around the club, because to have lost the 2 home games against Bournemouth and Leicester, really disappointing after that Arsenal victory, but to bounce back against Liverpool, it's been a very strange start to the season, really. 2 wins they wouldn't have expected, 2 defeats they wouldn't have expected as well, so mixed, but the confidence will be flowing certainly after the Liverpool result.
Definitely, that was a great result, and then since then, deadline day was a day that really pleased the fans. 4 new faces came in: Mikel Antonio, Victor Moses, Nikica Jelavic, and they got Alex Song again. I think Song will certainly be great. The fans are really happy with that one because he really impressed last season. They got him again, and I think the other 3 really good as well. I mean, Mikel Antonio, he's been brilliant in the Championship last season for Forest, and even the start of this season, he was so important to them. And Forest, to lose him is a real blow for them, but West Ham is a plus for them. And interesting to see how he adapts, to the Premier League. I think obviously Matt Jarvis, he left to go to Norwich, so he'll sort of fill the void there. But Moses is a winger as well. Victor Moses signed, was it a new 5-year deal at Chelsea, but he hasn't really played for Chelsea. He was at, he's been at Stoke, he's been at Liverpool, he's been at different clubs down in sort of the last couple of years. And Jelavic, I think that's a good backup striker to have. I'm not sure Jelavic will necessarily come in and start because they've got Sacco, Valencia, Zarate, Carroll. They've got some good strikers up there. I know Payet plays just off the front, so I think it's great options, and certainly a very exciting day on deadline day. West Ham, wasn't it? They were sort of the most active club, and you have to say that all 4 new signings look pretty good and certainly strengthened the squad. And yeah, I think West Ham, sitting 8th at the moment, they should be maybe pushing for a top half finish this year.
Yeah, you mentioned Zarate there. He might be back for this game, which would be a boost for them as well. He scored obviously against Arsenal in that opening day victory, and it's that away form that I mentioned already at the Emirates and Anfield, getting those victories. That away form could be key for them. I mentioned in the last video whether Bilic's side would be better against the big teams and better away from home the way they set up. So far has proved that way, and I think if they can keep that up, it's obviously going to give the fans some great days, but they need to. The matches they're expected to win, such as this one, they'll be favourites going into this one at home to Newcastle, such as the games against Leicester and Bournemouth that they've already lost. They need to start picking up points at home and in the games they're expected to win if they are to fulfil their ambitions of top half, as you mentioned. They should be. They've shown against Arsenal, they've shown against Liverpool, they can beat the best teams in this league, and they've deserved both of those victories as well. They play really well in both. They need to replicate those performances against the lesser teams now if they're to push for European football, which I think they're capable of this season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because obviously this game against Newcastle, very winnable, but then next they've got City away. If their first 3 away games, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, if they win all 3 of them, it'd be incredible. Even if they lose to City, City doing brilliant, 6 out of 9 from those 3 is a fantastic achievement. But back to this game, and Newcastle, they'll certainly, West Ham will start the game as favourites. Newcastle sitting 19th in the table, only rival Sunderland below them, and last time out, they hosted Arsenal. A very difficult game, before the international break. Arsenal, I know they haven't started the season that well, but it was never going to be an easy game for Newcastle. But they didn't make it easy for themselves. Mitrovic, who'd already been, booked twice in his within a couple of minutes of his first 2 substitute appearances, gets sent off. A rash tackle from him, early on, so that makes the game very difficult. I know that in the end they only lost to that Colaccini own goal, but Arsenal were always, knocking on the door. They controlled the game, the whole part of the game, and that's just not what you want to do when you're at home. You don't want to just sit back, and they were forced to sit back for the rest of the game after that red card. So disappointing defeat for them. Like I said, sitting 19th in the table, but it has been a tough start for them. They had Southampton, Swansea, Manchester United, and Arsenal as their first 4 games, and Man U and Arsenal, 2 of the most established names in the league. The way Swansea have started the season, that's a tough game. And then Southampton, how good they were last season. So it has been a really tough start for them, but this is maybe a chance to get their first win here.
Yeah, that Arsenal game, it was just one-way traffic from start to finish, even before the red card, but The thing that will worry McLaren most is the discipline his side showed. They completely lost their heads in the first half. They could have had more men sent off than Mitrovic. Sissoko was a bit fortunate to get away with a stamp which was relatively similar to Mitrovic's. You can see the referee's decision only to give a yellow card there. I agreed with that one, but there was a number of challenges, and Coquelin in particular was on the end of a few nasty challenges which could have resulted on another day, a stricter referee, in a few more red cards. They could have been down to 9, maybe even 8 men in that game, and they picked up so many yellow cards, and it was just the way that game was going. Just they needed someone to grab hold of the players and say calm down. The referee brought Colaccini over and told him to tell his players to calm down. They did manage that a bit in the second half, but in the first half they just lost their heads a bit. They defended well. You've got to give them credit for only letting in one goal, and that being an own goal when it was just relentless pressure from Arsenal throughout the whole match. But that discipline has been a problem for Newcastle over last season. It was as well a bit, and McLaren needs to stamp that out. I think deadline day, I think they would have expected more from their to give them a boost as well after that Arsenal defeat. They went after Charlie Austin by all accounts, especially with Mitrovic suspended now. They could have done with another striker, couldn't get him, so that would be disappointing as well. I just feel they need something to give them a boost.
Certainly, I think when you compare just how much good business West Ham did with Newcastle, certainly two sort of clubs in different moods coming into this game. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, West Ham, I'm surprised at how poor they've been at home and against the lesser teams. If they perform anything like they did against Arsenal and Liverpool, I can see them winning this one. And I'm going to back them to do so. I think 2-0 to West Ham, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to back them to win by 2 goals as well. Like you say, I think surprising for them to lose both their previous home games, and I think they'll win this one 3-1. So both picking West Ham to win this one by 2 goals. Thanks for joining us.